Do you have is there a favorite myth or story that you have that's associated with Hestia?
She doesn't have a lot. So that's really the trick. But one of the most interesting stories / descriptions of Hestia actually comes from Robert Graves. So for me, that could come with, it may not be grounded in anything. But I think I've seen it someplace else. Bless him. But one of the things that he talked about was this idea that Hestia looked at all of her siblings and looked at the Olympians and said, everybody is meddling and jealous, and I don't want any part of that. And sort of gave up her seat as an Olympian. And Dionysus stepped in, which is why sometimes you see the Olympians listed with different folks in it. And I think that's part of it. You don't always see Hestia. You don't always see Dionysus. Sometimes you see Hades, but Hades is not. And it's a really interesting thing, but I think that speaks to, again, her realization of what her role was and what was going to be the most important thing for her to do. And I love the idea of someone realizing that stepping back was the best choice.
Nice. Yeah. She had her smarts about her, didn't she, by the sounds of it?
She did. One of the few. Mm-hmm.
So you've mentioned Olympians a few times. That's kind of the top tier, as I understand it, isn't it, of the Greek gods?
Yeah. They're the folks up at Olympus mostly. And they're the folks who are the ones that people of ancient Greece look to their stories, look to their sort of interference and expectations to inform everyday life. And these are the folks to which you gave sacrifices. These are the folks to which you had temples and sanctuaries. And these were the folks that you really believed had influence on your life, for better or for worse.
Actually, the one that I always associate with Hestia is Vesta. What's the connection there?
Yeah, Vesta's the Roman counterpart of Hestia. And so my understanding, at least, is that while Hestia is really focused on home and family and sort of like more local, she was involved a bit in sort of civic affairs and decision making, or at least in those spaces, her flame would be there. Vesta was more about the civic affairs, more about, in Roman culture, this idea of her being someone to look to for advice or counsel and support in making decisions for the sort of political realm.
Because there's a mirror, isn't there? The Romans, bless them.
Yes.
Basically, let's be honest, they stole the Greek deities and renamed them, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line.
It was a rebrand of Hestia with a little bit more, a rebrand with more of a focus on, I don't know, I sometimes find, this might not be true, I don't know a lot about the Romans, but I find that the Romans tend to bring forward more of the characteristics that are going to be more helpful in their context of society, which is not to say that the Greeks didn't do that, but I that's what I see as a slight difference between the two.
Right.